Congratulations! You're being born into the world of Attack on Titan. But before we plop you into the world, I'm going to give you a simple task before we begin. Pick your favorite number from 1 to 5. Don't think too hard about it, just remember what you picked, and we'll come back around to it at the end of the video. With that in mind, let's explore what it would be like being born into the unforgiving world of Attack on Titan. I'm sure most of you watching this probably know the general idea of the world of Attack on Titan, but it's worth a quick refresher. Basically, there's these incredibly tall walls that form massive barriers inside which every known living human lives, even being several layers deep for an added sense of security. And what are these barriers protecting you from exactly? These non-jolly and honestly quite horrifying human-like creatures called Titans. These Titans only seem to care about eating humans, so it's a good idea to stay inside the walls. But luckily, it's been 100 years since anything major happened with the Titans, so I'm sure our story will go swimmingly for you. You're born in the year 835 in the town of Shiganshina on the southern edge of Wall Maria. Yes, the walls have human names. I'm sure that's not relevant, but it helps to differentiate the layers of the walls. Your family isn't wealthy, but you don't struggle to survive. Your mother and father both provide a comfortable life for you and your older siblings. Your father is a carpenter, and your mother is a traveling nurse. Life is good. And by year 844, you're now 9 years old. You've heard stories about the massive beings outside the walls, but to you they may as well be legends, as, like we established earlier, there hasn't been any significant Titan issues in yours or even your parents' lifetimes. And you've now taken an interest in carpentry, and you'll probably follow the family tradition as you get older. You also like to read, and one of your biggest obsessions is of this neat little concept you read about called fireworks. You always wanted to see what they might look like. 1 year later, in 845, it's officially your 10th birthday. Your family planned a celebration for you, and you all shared your favorite meal together. After some time, you all go outside to grab some fresh air and bask in the sunlight. You and your brother had even devised a strategy to set off some custom-made fireworks. But suddenly, there's a loud crash as a brilliant strike of lightning explodes just outside the walls. A strange thing to happen on a mostly clear day. The crowd gathers as you see steam rising over the walls. Emerging from the steam is a massive, no, perhaps even a colossal Titan. You've never even seen a Titan, but from what you understand, there's no way a Titan could get this large. Everyone stares in awe for a moment until eventually the lumbering creature kicks a hole in the wall, sending debris flying all around you. Everything after that becomes a blur. You didn't get hit, at least you don't think so. You barely hear the orders of your parents as sounds are drowned out by screams and crumbling infrastructure around you. It's time to run. Being the youngest, you struggle to keep up in the chaos. Your siblings are able to keep up better, and eventually your father picks you up and you continue to make your way through the city. Over your father's shoulder, you see people panicking, with many immobilized by fear and some even crushed by rubble. And even worse, you see more of those Titans appearing in the background, grabbing and consuming in their wake. You hear your parents discussing where you should go, and the consensus seems to be to head to the water and escape on one of the boats. Luckily, both of your parents' jobs give them excellent knowledge of the city, and you quickly make your way there. Being one of the earliest families to reach the boat, you manage to board with each of your siblings and both of your parents. However, you didn't have time to check on any of your extended family. The boat quickly reaches capacity and eventually begins to head out to much-needed safety. You sort of drift in and out of lucidity, but you do hear another kid around your age yelling about killing all of the Titans. Poor kid must have gone crazy. But it's finally over. You reach a whole new town, and your whole new life can begin. Happy birthday, by the way. The next few months are chaotic. You get settled into a new home with another family, and everyone tries to play it as cool as possible, but you're old enough to ask questions. The answers don't come easy, but your family helps you settle into your new reality. And you're definitely having nightmares. I mean, look at these things and tell me you wouldn't. But you help your father in his carpentry, mostly just carrying supplies, but you're learning. You often think about those fireworks you wanted to set off with your brother. It's year 846 now, and you're 11. You sometimes hear conversations about food and overcrowding, grown-up problems, they say. A huge group even gets assembled with the intent of taking back Wall Maria and hopefully securing your home again. At least, that's what the grown-ups tell you. Your parents are quote-unquote important contributors, and your siblings are still a bit young, so none of you were sent out on this expedition. Of the many thousands that do set out on this journey, very few return. You notice that food is suddenly more readily available, but you don't really understand the deeper meaning. The murmurs get louder, however, and it seems like you aren't going home anytime soon. True enough, several years pass and you've accepted this is now your home. You've now become quite a skilled carpenter yourself, often helping in building projects, sometimes even in other districts. You even made a few prototypes for some launching type fireworks that you're hoping you can get perfect to set off in a show at some point to raise morale. But life is busy and you have to delay that thought for now. These last 5 years have been quiet on the Titan front, but that was about to change. Word spreads quickly about the battle for Trost not too far from where you now live. You hear that the entire civilian population evacuated safely, and the garrison and survey corps even managed to achieve a victory in sealing the wall somehow. You wonder how, exactly. Do you have allies that can conveniently turn into Titans themselves and somehow pick up large boulders to plug the wall? Nah, probably not. Beyond your pay grade anyway. What is well within your pay grade, however, is rebuilding. You go with your family and help rebuild the destroyed structures in Trost. You're reminded of what you saw 5 years ago as a child. Rubble everywhere, blood-stained streets, and an overall somber environment. But somehow there's also hope. 5 years ago at Shiganshina it was a complete loss. But today, even having the ability to repair at all is a massive improvement. You aren't too familiar with these Survey Corps people that saved the day, but maybe you'll start paying more attention from now on. If 5 years ago was chaotic, this next year or so is even crazier. You've taken a keen interest in the movements of the Survey Corps. Every expedition fascinates you. Your brother even asks if you want to join them. And after giving it some thought, you absolutely don't want to join. What are you, crazy? You're afraid of heights, and you've got a knee that makes like this popping noise sometimes when you walk, and sometimes your neck doesn't quite turn right when you sleep the wrong way, and anyway, yeah, you're content building houses and fixing stuff. But you keep up with the Survey Corps nonetheless. Many people start to resent them after the amount of casualties they take and the limited progress that the public can see. You know there's more to it. You even meet a few of them over your time working in different districts. Obviously, they don't really talk about what's outside the walls much, but you feel like something major is on the horizon. One of them, named Hanji, even takes an interest in your fireworks idea. And all in this same year, there's a new Queen of the Walls crowned. You're eventually approached by Hanji again to help make a very special kind of firework using some sort of schematics that had recently been seized. One that could be used in aid of the Survey Corps. The results are promisingly explosive, to say the least. You all decide the name Thunder Spear sounds pretty cool. You hope it can help them in the coming battles. Things move quickly after this point, and suddenly the Survey Corps booms in popularity, with many joining the ranks for a mission you keep hearing rumblings. No, that word feels wrong. How about rumors? You keep hearing rumors about a mission to finally retake Shiganshina. And those rumors quickly come to reality. You decide to see off the Survey Corps as a group of around 100 brave souls stands atop the wall. It's a triumphant send-off. You allow yourself to think that you may finally be able to return home soon. This world never makes it that easy, however, as what was once 100 is now only 9. But those 9 survivors bring with them a tale of victory. And while yes, this does mean you'll be able to return home, and that's super cool and all, but there's kind of a huge announcement made that changes things for everyone. It turns out those Titans that have long terrorized you are actually transformed humans. Those massive walls that have long since protected you were only built 100 years ago. Your memories were altered in the past so that this fact was forgotten. Oh, and humanity is very much alive and well outside the walls. And many of those humans might possibly be coming to wipe you all out in the near future. The only saving grace being the fact that you're on an island and all those possible enemies are across the water. All massive revelations that received mixed emotions from those around you. Some deny it as fiction, some laugh it off as nothing more than a sick joke, and others like you very much see it as the truth. Soon it was time to start one of the biggest humanitarian efforts to date, rebuilding your hometown of Shiganshina. You're finally 16, so maybe now you can drive a horse and buggy. That one sounded better in my head. But you're finally home now, and despite the growing fear of an enemy invasion, the fear of Titans is at an all-time low, as almost all of the remaining Titans on the island have been taken out at last. If only that kid you saw on the boat that time was there to see it. You wonder whatever became of that kid. Best not to think too much on it. The next 3 years or so see you meeting new people from across the water, with you even befriending several of them. But beyond a new perspective, these new people also bring many new technological improvements. New types of weapons for added security, an entire railway system for better transportation, and even a blooming harbor to help welcome in new people to the island, as well as a hub for moving your own supplies and people from place to place. You even get to swap some carpentry tips and tricks and improve your firework game. But as things often seem to happen around here, the chaos isn't yet finished. With one of the most notable Survey Corps members, known as Aaron Yeager, being arrested for insubordination, some disarray ensues as many protest these confusing events. At 19, you've certainly got your own opinions, but you're just a humble carpenter. Admittedly with a penchant for explosive projectiles, but nonetheless, you keep a low profile, showing support to the Survey Corps members that you still keep in touch with. Eventually, this Aaron guy escapes jail, and soon after, a full-scale war breaks out on your home turf all over again. You manage to hunker down with your family and some others while the battle rages on. Gunshots ring out from every direction. Explosives rattle the very walls around you, and despite the different circumstances, you're all reminded of that fateful day over 9 years ago. This time, however, escape feels much less likely. You manage to hold out long enough to see the very walls in the distance crumbling away to reveal thousands of what appears to be more of those colossal titans. They all walk off in the same direction, and soon after regrouping with some survivors and soldiers alike, suddenly you're all warped to a strange place. An endless ocean of sand, with a dark sky and a strangely alien horizon. You all stand in shocked silence until finally you hear a voice. He claims to be Aaron Yeager. He tells you all that he's going to destroy the entire world through this event called the Rumbling so that everyone on the island may live in peace. As you all go back to the real world, this is obviously a lot of information to process. The next few days are spent helping the wounded and making emergency repairs as you await any sort of news on what exactly just happened. The news is overwhelming, to say the least, as you learn that, true to Aaron's word, roughly 80% of the world population was wiped out over the course of just a few days. Selfishly, you're happy that your home island fared much better, because obviously that was Aaron's intention. Of course, nobody got out of this without scars, but at the least, the era of the Titans has finally come to an end. Politics go back and forth on what should come next, but overall, you're just happy to be alive. It's now your 25th birthday in the year 860. You've got a family of your own now, and the world is finally at peace. And you definitely put on some awesome firework displays over the coming decades. I'm sure the world will remain this peaceful forever, right? Yeah, okay, let's just enjoy the happy times we have now. Because no matter what life throws at you, you will always rebuild. Of course, for the sake of exploring the entire survival journey, we assumed that each of us was there to see it through to the end. But it's never that easy in this world. Do you remember what number you picked from 1 to 5 at the start of the video? Well, if you picked 1, 2, 3, or 4, then congratulations! You died. But if you picked 5, you survived the rumbling, so good job! You're among the 20% of the world that made it out. But I'll tell you what, I'll be more forgiving than the world of Attack on Titan and give you one more chance. After all, those of us inside the walls weren't the target of the rumbling, so it's a bit unfair to only give you 1 in 5 odds. So go ahead and pick another number from 1 to 5. I'm sure you'll do better this time. And the number is 5 again. Good job. So if you picked 1, 2, 3, or 4 this time, well, you survived. Since somewhere around 20% perished inside the walls from start to finish, only those of you who picked 5 got the short end of the stick this time. Hopefully you made it through both rounds. And comment below what you thought about the video and leave a like if you liked it. Check out the Patreon to support my work directly, and also let me know what world we should explore being born into next. And with that said, I look forward to seeing you there, fellow anime lovers. Bye bye for now.